combating nutrition disinformation and general bull. It's Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Instagram Live. And we're here with another episode of Jimmy Rants. If you're brand new to Jimmy Rants, check it out, you guys. Go to JimmyRants.com, and you'll see that we start off over on Instagram. We do a couple of live videos every single day, so go follow me on Instagram at Livin' Low Carb Man. That's LIVINLOWCARBMAN. Once you are there, you can engage in the content live, just like all these beautiful people coming in, giving me lots of hearts. Thank you for that, you guys. Then if you missed the live, it's all good. We do have it on replay on Instagram for up to 24 hours. Then Instagram makes it go away, but we keep it up on YouTube. So go get the archived episodes on YouTube. If you've never seen the show before, go and check it out. Put in Jimmy Rants as a keyword on YouTube, and you will find it, or you can do a Google search. And what you can do now that we have 140-something episodes, put in Jimmy Rants and then some keyword. And if I've talked about that subject, like cholesterol, for example, if I've talked about it, then it will pop up that video. So go check that out. Then finally, we have the best of the best moments of this here show in podcast form over on the Apple Podcasts version of the show, Jimmy Rants. So go find that on Apple Podcast. And you can find all of these links, you guys, at JimmyRants.com. Today's Jimmy Rants is all about loving other people. And that sounds so easy, doesn't it? Just love other people. Do you know how hard it is in this day and age to love other people? Some people make it extremely difficult to love them. But I'm a Christian, and so I'm commanded to love other people. And so I do. And I love everybody who comes onto my Jimmy Rants. If you're listening to this on the Jimmy Rants podcast, I love you. If you're watching this on YouTube, I love you. And I want you to know that. And I love you regardless of where you are on your keto journey. And I'm constantly dismayed by the way people treat other people that are in the keto world, either on like a keto Facebook page or pages here on Instagram or even videos on YouTube, the conversations. I'm very dismayed by the way that people are so judgmental of other people on their keto journey. So what I want to talk about and hone in on this message today is we have to be mindful that people are at varying places on their keto journey. So some people today may be day number 1 of keto. And you get on there and you respond to their very basic question, because they've never heard any of this stuff before, with, well, that's so axiomatic. Everybody knows that. Come on, give us a... No. You got to be patient. It's what I love about the Keto Connect guys. If you don't follow Keto Connect, Matt and Mega, I believe it's keto.connect is their Instagram name. And they have a podcast called Keto for Normies. Really great people. But every single day at 9 a.m., they go on and do an Instagram Live where they answer listener questions. And they have hundreds of people that get on there, and they're asking all these questions. And I'll watch sometimes. I'm a fan of theirs. I'll watch sometimes consecutive days in a row. They'll answer the same questions again and again and again. And they're not so haughty as to say, well, that's been answered before, so you should blah, 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 blah. No, they just very politely and kindly and lovingly and helpfully answer the question. And that's the way it's supposed to be, you guys. I really get disheartened when I see people that are asking legitimate questions, even if they're basic questions, they're legitimate questions, and people get an attitude with those people. Well, you should know that. If today's day number 1, how would they know that? How would they know? Now, I wrote a whole book about kind of the basics of keto called Keto Clarity. It's written on a layman's language. It's meant to be an entry-level book into keto. And sometimes people will reference that book, as do I, for people to kind of learn more. But sometimes people just have questions and they need a little hand-holding. And I think we got to be okay with that and be mindful that they are at the beginning of their journey. And then there's this kind of movement of, well, that's not keto, you know, insert food. Blank, that ain't keto. And it's like, okay, if that person's feeling good and that person's controlling their blood sugar, that person's getting really good ketone readings, we don't need to be so quick to say that that ain't keto. Maybe it's keto for them. I'm going to check my blood sugar, by the way. So my blood sugar is 73 right now. I am rocking and rolling it. And we need to celebrate the people that ask the right questions and want to know. I think the moment that we close the door to answering even the most basic of questions, knowing that people might be in the first few days, weeks, or months, as compared to a lot of us who have been doing this for years, I think we have to be mindful of that. And the moment you forget that people are at varying levels of their ketogenic journey is the moment that people will get discouraged and will say, the heck with it. I don't want to do that. And that's not an option. I think you agree, if you're watching this right now, you agree that people don't need to be discouraged. People need to be uplifted, given good information, share links to podcasts, share links to blog posts, links to things that will help people out, giving them good information. And if we all were mindful of that, rather than having some kind of a knee-jerk reaction to, well, here's that question again. Oh, do a Google search. Come on, you can. Does that help anybody? I don't think it does. Love, kindness, respect, information, experience, all of that goes a very, very long way in helping other people that are on this journey. And if today is day one for you on your ketogenic journey, welcome. Please ask the questions. Please engage in the content. Please become a sponge of all the information that's being shared. And some of that stuff, you can take it or leave it, but at least hear the information and at least you know about it. For those of you that have been keto for a little while, I say the same thing. Never stop learning. And I would say be a mentor. At that point, you have experience. You've been able to see success in your weight and health. You've been able to give people hope that this could work for them. So be that hope for them. Be that mentor. Offer up loving, experiential responses so that then they can benefit from your wisdom. If we did that, you guys, there wouldn't be a need for a keto community. There wouldn't be a need for keto being the hottest diet trend right now. Everybody would be doing it. Everybody would be doing it because it would be attractive to them. So the bottom line in this Jimmy Rants, you guys, always, 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 did I say always, always be mindful that people are at different places on their keto journey and that we have to give them the respect and the love that they deserve. All right, let's see what you guys have to say. Welcome in, welcome in. Thank you for being here, you guys. Always a pleasure to hang out with you here on Jimmy Rants. Keto Chrissy Sue, thanks for sharing your knowledge, helping others in their journey. That is my jam. Thank you for that. Listening to you reading your book. Thank you, Darla Daisy. Which book? Is it Keto Clarity? Thank you, guys. When someone makes me angry, I try to think of how I would talk to them if they were my granny. Be patient and kind. Yeah, I just did a podcast where that kind of came up, and I made a comment to the hosts that if people talk to their mother in the same way that they talk to people online, they wouldn't. Nobody would do that. I'm talking about the people that write ugly comments. If they wrote or said ugly comments, the same ugly comments to their mom that they write online about other people, it wouldn't happen. But people don't have that filter. We're just trying to learn. Yeah, R.W. Hempel, always. Learn, and learn some more. And once you learn, you apply what you learn and keep adding to the knowledge, but then you teach other people what you've learned along the way. My first keto book was Keto Clarity. It was so helpful at the start. Thank you, Jess. By design, I wrote that book to be an entry level into keto. Once you get Keto Clarity down, you understand all those concepts, then go read all the nerdy books. But hopefully that's a first foray into keto. I appreciate everyone who is gracious, says R.W. Hempel. It goes a long way, and it's sad that you have to articulate. Just be nice to people and kind and gracious. Isn't it sad you have to like say it in that many words? Shouldn't that be common sense that you do that with other people? When did we fall off the deep end? I think those of us that have been doing this for a while should remember we had questions as well. Sherry, thank you for that. Yes, we all had questions when we started. And questions are great. Questions means you're keto curious, as I like to say. And once you get that keto curiosity bug in you, keep asking the questions. Now, do your own research. Do go ahead and Google, read books like Keto Clarity, learn about it. And then if you still have questions, then start asking the questions. I do a whole podcast on Thursdays. We came back today called Keto Talk, ketotalk.com. Me and my co-host, Dr. Will Cole, functional medicine practitioner. That show is built completely around people writing us questions all about the ketogenic diet. So ketotalk.com, and it's on Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. Go check it out. But that's why we created that show. And it's one of my biggest shows that I do. It is the second biggest show that I do, only behind the Living La Vida Low Carb show. If you can't answer helpfully, just don't answer and move on, says Joshua. Yeah, I do see sometimes people will respond in an ugly way. And I don't get that. Just if you don't have a good response for the person, don't respond. You're exactly right. Nancy, Virginia Beach, we need to remember there is definitely a learning curve when you go keto. You learn as you go, be supportive and kind. You set a great example. Well, thank you. I do think it goes such a long way in helping the message. If the messengers of said message aren't a-holes, let's just be honest about it. Because if you're a jerk, because somebody earlier said, hey, have you tried this snake diet? And I said, I would never do that diet simply because the guy that created this diet is such a vulgar, nasty human being. I know he's doing it to get attention, but I can't get past the person behind it. Does that unfairly judge what he's promoting as a nutritional health plan? Yeah, it sure does. Do I care because he's so ugly about it? No, I don't want to have anything to do with it. And I don't want people representing keto in the same way. If you have an ugly spirit about you, if you're not representing this way of eating in a positive and loving and encouraging and supportive manner, we don't need you in the keto world. Go promote veganism. They could use a few people like you. In turn, one day, us newbies will be helping others. Thanks. That's right, R.W. Hempel. I was a newbie once. 15 years ago, I was brand new to this. I still thought everything was about calories. Didn't know anything about insulin. Didn't know anything about triglycerides. Didn't know anything about blood sugar, because that's all stuff diabetic people have to worry about. That wasn't me. Now I know better. Lead by example and always use patience. Yep, Sherry. Real Food with Jess, 4 years keto, always learning and adjusting. I am into this, like I said, I started 15 years ago. I still learn things to this day. And I think the moment you stop learning is the moment you stop growing in your knowledge and when things can start to stifle. I just like the pure educational aspect of it all. That especially in this world, the more we think we know, actually the less we know. in nutritional health, everything is predicated on scientific research shows. Well, you know what? It's extremely difficult for scientific research to vet out one little thing happening as a direct result of what you're eating in your diet, because what I eat in my diet versus the exact same food that someone else eats in their diet, it could respond metabolically in two totally different ways. So that doesn't really tell you anything. It just shows you two random people ate a banana. One saw their blood sugar spike through the roof and their insulin go up. The other one had a normal blood sugar response and a slight little uptick in their insulin. So what's the conclusion? Some people get an insulin response with wackadoodle blood sugar. Someone else doesn't get. What was the conclusion? So at the end of the day, we have to be representative of what works for us and encourage people to try it for themselves. Let the waters raise all the ships. Always help each other out. Keto, tiny, and village. That's my theme song. Steph says kindness is free. All day, every day. I would say it's free, but it's the most valuable free thing you could ever give someone is kindness. More valuable than probably a lot of money. Although it might depend on the amount of money. Just kidding. Keto police do more damage to people than helping them, says Luna Shine 4. They absolutely shut down the conversation. It's extremely discouraging. I think if you run into somebody like that on social media who's being the police, you come in behind them and give the answer to that person loving, kind, respect, thorough, and tell them encouraging, tell them it's going to be okay. And I think you juxtapose the ugliness with extraordinary kindness. I've seen it diffuse situations time and time again. And sometimes there's people who have, whatever their reasons, they want to just pop in and give some nasty keto police comment, and they do it just to rile people up. And it usually does. I want us to stop having knee-jerk reactions to those people. Number one, if you run boards that have people like that on it, you delete those comments sooner than later, because it does no good. It does no good if somebody posts a hamburger and somebody says, well, that better be grass-fed or you're just not keto. Delete. Bye-bye. I don't have time for those people. Not anymore. The bottom line, we're all human and deserve compassion. Pay it forward. Yes, keto, tiny, and village. You will hear me say all those words and more. I have many books and I can't stop reading new ones. Keep learning, Alberto. I get people offering to pay me to coach them to start keto. I'm like, nah, man, but come have a coffee and let's talk and make it click. Keto, Stephalophagus, thank you for that. And I think that more often than not is the way a lot of this works. People like you being willing to spend time with people. They're willing to pay you some money. I've had people offer to pay me money to coach them. Obviously, I have knowledge where I could and give them good information that would help them. I usually tell people, go buy my books and you'll have most of the information that I would be sharing with you if you want to get something. But then I point them to resources like my wife, Christine. She's a nutritional therapy practitioner. She has a practice that if you wanted to hire her to be a nutritional therapist for you, rebootingyournutrition.com is her website if you wanted to hire her. And I'd rather you see somebody like her or some other ketogenic coach of some sort who can help you through. This is a great rant. You must constantly evolve, says Kara Murray. My keto is not what it was just 2 years ago, and it won't be in the years to come. Yeah, I think about when I first started on the Atkins diet in 2004, 15 years ago. I was on the Atkins diet, and I really didn't understand vegetable oils. I didn't really understand that American cheese wasn't real cheese. All I was doing was keeping my carbs low. Pretty much. That was what I did. And of course, over time, you build on that knowledge. Currently, I'm in the midst on day number 9 of doing a keto carnivore experiment where I'm eating only meat and animal-based foods. That's it. You evolve. You learn new things, and then you apply them. And you're always mindful people are on varying levels of their journey. So much to learn about biohacking even 26 years in. We are all different. Yes, indeed we are. I watched Nancy Childress stop a Facebook Live to block someone. I love how she takes care of it. Yeah, Anita, thank you for that. Nancy is, she's got a Facebook page called Keto for Real Life People. Go check it out. But yeah, she doesn't put up with anything. She's a sister. I love her. You're looking thinner, says Keto Corrales. I've lost quite a bit of weight doing keto carnivore so far. And I've been sharing about a lot of the other things happening, but it's obvious if you're healing your body that you're going to lose the weight. And related to this topic, being mindful that people are at varying places on their keto journey, I've been doing this a very long time, and I'm at the point in my journey where I know things that should work and how they should work, but they're not. So you're constantly having to make alterations and changes. And for me, keto carnivore seems to be moving the needle a little bit. Of course, it's more than just about fat loss. And thank you for your compliment about losing weight in the face. But I think we constantly stay in the game and constantly be energized about doing this. That's the point. Should you say something when people are saying in a group PM to find out about ketones? Crystal, those people also should be blocked and deleted. They're in multi-level marketing, so they're not really helping anybody either. That's the other thing about this topic, you guys, is you've got a lot of people out there talking keto because they're only looking at it from the business side of keto. There's the business side of keto and people looking to make money off of the trend. And then there's people like us who sincerely want to help people and give them good information and help them get on the straight and narrow to get their health in order. And deciphering between those groups is very difficult for some people because they just see, especially if the username has keto in it, oh, this person must be about keto, not realizing they're peddling some ketone swill that's a bunch of crap. Keto, carnivore, and fasting, such a great protocol. Thank you. Yeah, I agree. I think both of those have been really good, and they've helped me in my journey. At this point in my journey, I've been doing this a very long time. I've found that it is probably the most freeing that I've felt since the first time I started the Atkins diet. So we're going to see how it goes. I'm currently testing it for 28 days. Obviously, at the end of 28 days, if it's still doing swimmingly well, I'm not going to stop. So the bottom line in this Jimmy Ranch, you guys, is always, always, always be mindful that people are at different places in their keto journey. And we have to be and meet them where they are. Understand that maybe they're brand new. Maybe they've been doing keto a while. They got discouraged, like what we talked about on my earlier Jimmy Rants, and they allowed things back into their diet that they shouldn't have, gained back some weight, got a little worse health. We need to be loving and welcoming to bring them back into the fray again. So that's what I try to do in my work, and I know so many of you guys do the same thing as well. So that's it for this Jimmy Rant, you guys. JimmyRants.com is the website if you want to engage in the show. I think it's pretty unique, this show, because nobody else is doing a show quite like this one. We start off on Instagram Live. We do a couple of lives every single day. So go follow me on Instagram at Livin' Low Carb Man, LIVINLOWCARBMAN. Once you're there, you can engage live, just like all my wonderful peeps here today. If you missed the live, it's okay. We got a bunch of people that watch the replay over on Instagram. And then it disappears after 24 hours on Instagram. We do pop it over onto YouTube for you, so go look up Jimmy Rants as a keyword search on YouTube, and you can find all the past episodes. Like I said earlier, we have well over 140 episodes now and counting. And then finally, we have the best of the best moments of this here show in podcast form on Apple Podcasts. Just look up Jimmy Rants on an Apple Podcasts keyword search and you'll find it. Leave us a review there while you're there. JimmyRants.com is the website. Keto, Tiny and Village, most freeing and effective for me too. Thanks for always doing the great rants. So inspiring to folks on all levels of keto. Well, that's That's the goal, my dear. Thank you for being here. Thank you guys for your faithfulness. And until next time, we'll see you then.